OLDTV is a rhythm game? No. OLDTV is a point-and-click action game? Not really. OLDTV is a mind game? Actually, yeah, that works. Yeah. OLDTV is a mind game. A game that tests your reaction speed and quick thinking. From those two sentences, you might say, how exactly? Well, I'll tell you. OLDTV relies on two mechanics, as said before, reaction speed and quick thinking. The premise is this: you have to surf through channels without dying. Pretty simple, but to surf through channels, you have to left click on correct colors and right click on incorrect colors. For example, let's take the color red. The text red has the same pigment, so you left click, but the text red may appear again but another color, example, a blue red, so you right click. These vary on all colors: cyan, red, blue, green, yellow. Do you see where this can get very confusing? What ensues is an insane level of gameplay. OLDTV is basically based off of the Stroop test, which is basically the game. In a way, it's literally just what OLDTV is. It's just that, like, the premise, like the colors, like red is red, but then another channel will be red is green. You know what I'm saying? So that's like where the basis of OLDTV is from the Stroop test and the Stroop experiments. I'll link an article I found from Lesley University about it in the description if you guys want to check it out. But yeah, it's pretty interesting, and I thought I would say that. And now let's dive into the gameplay section. Gameplay is pretty basic at first. You might have thought to yourself, oh, just left click and right click on colors? Seems pretty simple, to be honest. Well, my friend, it gets a lot better. Here's just a list of what can happen. Words can appear upside down. Words can be misspelled. There are times where you can't switch. Sometimes the background will change color as well. Letters will appear one at a time. Your controls invert at times. You can lose signal. You'll have to press spacebar to magnify words to see them better. A color roulette will appear, which changes the colors in like a 2-second basis. And you'll have to even answer questions about words, like what was the last word, or what was the color of the last word, or what was the last word in general. But altogether, these factors dramatically affect the gameplay. Like I've said before, quick thinking and reaction speed, because you're also being timed. If that frequency meter runs out, you lose. And trust me, it gets very hectic. Oh, did I mention Sherlock mode? If you get 3 correct consecutive clicks, you gain this short bonus, in which you can click rapidly to surf through channels quicker, also known as Sherlock mode. Oh, and I almost forgot, the music. The music alone gets its own section. It is incredible. The tracks fit so well in the game and make it so much more enjoyable. Especially when you're doing good and you hear the music change tempo, it just gets insane. There is also a shop in which you can buy items with a currency called channel points, which you get by playing the game. The 3 items you can get are hold to skip, which is basically what it says. It'll consume channel points and you get to skip channels. Double channel points, you gain double channel points for a minute. And second chance, if you misclick a channel, you get to come back. And you also got your stats to see how much you suck. And these stats are kind of boof. I had this game for a while and had to reset a lot, so yeah. And we got settings for cool kids. Oh shite, I almost forgot about achievements. Lots of cool stuff for achievements. Some of my favorites are failing the tutorial.
What kind of brain usage are you even? How are you alive?
Reach channel 10 with monochrome.
When I was young, it would never come at my time. I ate bricks for breakfast.
And reach channel 10 with another language.
朋友是一个坚韧不拔的纪录片，在香港。
Pro tip: the last two are mega easy with hold to skip. And that's about it. Not much to it. Just surf the channels going from Oceania to Asia, Europe, the Americas, and Africa. Also, if you hit spacebar on the main menu, you get... After transferring 300 channel points, you get... Infinite channels with every mechanic. Very cool. You can also get some funny Easter eggs when booting up the level, so just keep on booting up and get a fun Easter egg or something. Oh, you want to know what happens when you get to the end? Oh, well, it's simple. You just get a... Wait, did you hear that? Welcome to Antarctica, it's cold! OLDTV actually got a DLC called Cold TV, which adds 2 new levels, 2 new colors, 2 new songs, and some new mechanics. The colors are pink and orange, mechanics are a color roulette, questions about colors, and the songs aren't just the names of the 2 new locations, Antarctica and Abandoned Stations, which Abandoned Stations is by far my favorite track. I actually wanted to take a moment to talk about the developer of the game, FromFrame. He actually has a YouTube channel where he posts somewhat regularly, and his stuff is pretty cool. It looks like he was working on a social media that had a really neat concept, and I actually wanted to reach out to him regarding OLDTV and what he's been up to. Here's how that went. I joined the Discord mentioned in the news page on Steam, and it was dead and all locked up for some reason. I tried contacting a mod about joining the new server that was mentioned in the hashtag announcements tab, but the link expired. And sure enough, he was able to get me an invite, and he even messaged FromFrame himself concerning my interview, and got me in touch with him. And behold, the interview with the man behind OLDTV himself. Check it out. What is your name? Just say your name for the record.
Sure thing. Samrira Gandor.
How are you today?
I'm doing great, man. I'm sweating.
Same. My fan's off, so like you can't hear it running on my microphone, and I'm sweating too. What have you been up to?
So today I just I came in early in the morning to work on a few mechanics for the. Well, we'll talk about it in a bit, but it's for the for an unannounced project. It's coming soon. I think I've dropped a deadline for it. Announced that online.
I think I've seen that.
Yeah. So. We'll see. If you have any specific questions, then we'll talk about it. Otherwise, I don't want to over speech stuff that's not announced yet.
Yeah. For OLDTV, what was the inspiration behind it?
Sure. So initially it was in 2015. There was a friend of mine. So I was kind of growing careerability at the time, and I was trying to get to the office, and I had my 2 other friends that were also co-workers that were in the office already, and I was on the way. late as usual back then. And I asked them, guys, like, in the meantime, just try to conceive of a small, like, I asked Borna if you guys remember him. We've mentioned the guy that says, "I'm playing the game." That guy?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's Borna. So he's a great programmer. He's been around since the beginning. He's an old friend. I asked them, dude, come up with a game that's like our Flappy Bird, like Creability's Flappy Bird. He's like, all right, cool. He once I reached the office, so this is in the span of just half an hour, right? He goes like, all right, dude, I got an idea. You say something, but you mean something else. Then I'm like, so then that reminded me of something I've seen on Facebook back then. That was called I forgot what it was called. Sorry, and I forgot what the post was called, but basically it was like red or blue, but that's in different colors and things like that. So it's because of that like crappy Facebook post, I started looking that up and I discovered the Stroop test. I'm like, that's a really simple idea. Let's totally make a game out of it. And then OLDTV came to be.
Was the post, was it like that dress post where it was like the gold and white dress?
No, dude, it was a post about like red, but it was in green, and like blue, but in purple. So some random Facebook post in 2015. So when he said make a game that's based off of like you say something but you mean something else, that immediately reminded me of that Facebook post. So if it wasn't for that Facebook post, OLDTV wouldn't be. Basically, we had a lot of ideas, dude. That wasn't like the only game in our timeline. There were a lot of ideas, but we rolled with that one.
Yeah. I have like questions on all your games, so don't worry.
That's cool, man.
For OLDTV, did you create all the songs for the soundtrack? Because soundtrack
Absolutely
is amazing.
Thanks, man. Now there are a few fans that know this already, but it's literally just like I was using my taste in music to like determine how the product sounds. So I mean, that's how it was based. So I just reached out to these artists. If it was Japan, I kicked a cloud once, Amari Jazz, and the guy that was actually not known, but the guy that made the Americas song, the one that goes like talking, sleeping, waking, that one. So Jas, Ghas, I remember. He was a Swedish guy, so I was like, right, he's our neighbor here. I'm in Denmark. Yeah, I just put it along, and it was fine actually. I'm working on the soundtrack for, and I've released the new tracks for this unannounced project, and I gotta tell you, it slaps. It's so much better than OLDTV in my opinion. And I showed it to like really few like long-term fans and also testers and basically friends at this point. And they were really excited about it. Like they were laughing. That's how good it is.
Nice.
So yeah, I think it's an upgrade.
Do you know what happened to the mobile versions of OLDTV? I can't seem to like find them on Android and iOS.
Right. Yep. Yeah, we just found out recently it was pulled. So the guy I worked with was Polish, and he was a game developer / publisher as well. He's gone quiet now. I don't know what's going on, but basically he pulled it away from the Android store for some reason, probably because it was bad for his portfolio, because his other two games were selling like in hundreds of thousands and up to a few million. So I guess it wasn't good for his portfolio for the Android store. He kept it on the iOS store. I don't know why he did that, but we just found out about that recently. We were worried maybe something a bit unusual might have happened, but no, it's not making that much money either. Look, I don't really like OLDTV's port on mobile because we were supposed to find a way to make money was the idea. Like we released it on Steam for free. That was a horrible idea. I should have priced it on like 1 or 2 or something. So like my parents would go like, River, when are you going to be making money? And I'm like, you know, just give me another year. And you know, it's been 8 years later. I started growing a beard and shit. started getting older.
I was wondering, because I was writing the script for my video, and I was like, I know it's on iOS and Android because I've had it before, and I tried looking for it, and I was like, I just couldn't find it. So it's pretty whack.
Yeah, man. So he pulled it. We're assuming because it was, you know, portfolio thing. But honestly, the OLDTV port for mobile is really not good. Because we had to put in ads, and that's cancer. I'm never doing that again. Like I wrote a full article Yeah, we'll link it in the description below. I wrote a full article just antagonizing advertisements and how to make good products. Like how to profit ethically, I guess was the name of the article. I wrote it for the workplace here. But yeah.
And don't worry, I bought Cold TV, so I'm supporting you. You know.
That's cool, man. So what was that? What's Old TV? Cold TV was like what?
It was the DLC to Old TV.
Yeah, you know, it was $3 or $4. What was it?
I think it was 2 or 3. I think.
Right. So 30% of that goes to Steam.
Damn.
And the rest of it is just settles on Steam until it hits $100. So if I'm lucky, like every month that passes, if I'm lucky, if it crosses $100, then it gets transferred. And I get to eat food with $100, or buy toilet paper, like whatever, man.
I was actually going to get into that next question of why Old TV was free. It was, why is Old TV free to play? And like, yeah, is there any reason why it is?
Yeah, so the first game was free, and only if you remember that one. And the second one was too, because so the first, God, I was so poor when it comes to understanding business. And just to say, like in the beginning, I was just like really dog shit at school. So I don't understand nothing: math, business, physics, no sciences, nothing. All I knew was I liked making pretty things on screen. So I literally just like left school and I was like, all right, let me do exactly what I know, what I like doing, what I know what to do, which was kind of video games. Only if it wasn't really well reviewed. It wasn't designed very with the customer in mind. It was designed like, oh, this is my shit. Honestly, like Only If was the only game where I felt like I was making the greatest game on the planet, and it turned out to be like the most dog shit one I've made in my whole life. And that's me looking like in retrospect. Yeah, so just I didn't understand business. I didn't understand how to be critical. I didn't have a critical mind at the time. I was a stereotypical creative. So as I aged, I learned how to be a bit more rational. And I went through a phase of like antagonizing the whole being called like a creative person, whatever, like an edgy teenager or something. No, I'm not a creative. I'm fucking rational. Ben Shapiro, destroy that kind of shit. No, man. And then and then I've come to accept it. I'm like, no, like there's great value for creativity. It exists everywhere, not just in the creative industry, whatever the hell that means. So like I've left the creative industry over time. Sorry, I'm digressing. So you said, why was it free? Because I didn't think it was worth it. I thought if I put a great game that sold for like, it was 1.2 million units actually. It was Steam's 50th most popular video game at the time, 2014 on PC. So I think Metal Gear Rising at that time was 61st or something. I forgot. So in terms of popularity on Steam, that was cool. But yeah, I just thought if I set donations, like the money would come reeling in, but that's just very poor business understanding. So for the sequel, we're like, oh, let's put a DLC instead, like soundtrack to download, or some, a cold TV afterwards. But the mistake was to release it 3 months after the traffic, like fucking idiots. So we just made $10,000 out of the entire game. So I've just been living off of investor money, like mommy and daddy money. What else?
That YouTuber money?
No, I fucking hate ads, dude. No way. So I wrote a whole article about it, dude.
I haven't seen it, by the way, so I don't know.
It's very boring. But yeah, it's just me talking to like developers, designers, and maybe a few business people, telling them, don't do this. Citation. Ads are fundamentally undemocratic, because the idea is that you're trying to give people an idea of product or a service somewhere it doesn't belong. Like if you look back 100 or so years ago, you see like this cute photo of some chick in her 30s or 20s, Victorian-esque kind of dress, and she's posed like, it looks like a painting, but she's posing with like Coca-Cola, and it looks like the most absurd thing. And like that's like one of the earliest sort of modern day advertisement sort of strategies, and it's like the beginning of cancer to me, dude. So it's a necessary evil, but in my opinion, I want us to shift away from like an attention economy to an intention economy where it's more like Steam. You know, like if I want new games, dude, it's on the front page. I can scroll down. That's how you find out about me. We're building Door the exact same way as well, where it's, you know, like before I talk about Door, sorry, YouTube is another example of an intention economy where, dude, YouTube's recommendation feature is like one of the coolest, like AI software algorithms that ever exist, in my personal opinion. It's magic. Like I remember, like I was a teenager at the time when it was like whatever, and I remember the transitional period up to like a year or 2 years when I was like, I'm not sure if this is good or bad. And like by 2013, 2014, I'm like, it's so good. And now we take it as granted. Like YouTube's recommendation can really suck you in. And that's just the beauty of the intention economy. It has nothing to do with them putting things and forcing you to watch things. They also kind of do that, which is shit. But yeah, so that's the difference between attention and intention economy. Door is focusing more on the intention economy, where if you like to run, as an example, you'll find people who will also want to run with you, or you might be into gymnastics, or maybe a video game that's about sports. So that's the intention route that I want to go down. So we're not completely antagonizing the attention economy. Marketing is fantastic. It's specifically advertising that's the cancer. Advertising means putting something where it doesn't belong, and trying to make it interesting. I mean, that's fine if you expect it, but if you don't, it's just unethical to me. Doesn't make sense.
I feel that. It's like plugging holes in people's or plugging ideas in people's heads, you know? They're not supposed to be there, but these companies are like pulling the strings and all. It's very interesting. I should look more into this.
Yeah.
OLDTV's first ending. I want to talk about this because it's very weird. Before the DLC came out, there's an ending where... Spoilers ahead! Where when you beat, I believe it was Africa, there's this girl, she's like asking where her father is, and she wants someone to get out of the wardrobe. Could you elaborate more on that?
I like that expression, when you beat Africa. Yeah, so no, that was more of like that voice line was more of like, it was actually ripped away straight from And. So it's just supposed to be really like, it was an attempt to, it was cheap. It was an attempt at like trying to add some depth to a game that was lacking of. And it was more of a hint towards the next thing, which was supposed to be And actually, but you guys know how that went. And if you look at Only If, there is also another And teaser. It's one of the achievements. It's called One Day. It's where you climb. It's like there's the study room. It's like if you climb on top of a desk, then like on top of like this drawer wardrobe thing, and then you look up. You'll clip above the room, which you'll discover that there's nothing around the room. And you'll see this enormous anime painting, which is a commission. I think I paid like $49 for, or $69 or something, of like ants. So it was like Valerie and like I don't know, like the painting and the Victorian aesthetic and all that, and the gems, which were a big part of that game. I don't know. I might come back to it. Like there's like loads of people really like the atmosphere of And, although like creatively, for me, I can do better. But I guess because it's just so deep in its atmosphere, I might consider coming back to it. But to be honest, like let's just say no for now, because we can make more exciting things.
Gotcha. And I actually want to do my next question is about Cold TV's ending too. You leave for school. Is that an And or Only If teaser too as well, or?
Oh no, so that was sort of just a wrap up of the game. So that's the funny thing. Like it sounds like it was deep or something, but we flipped it on its head again. It just does. It literally means what it says. Like you're just at home the whole time, and then you just leave for school.
Gotcha. I thought it was like some sort of allegory for the creator, or something like you like stop at game development or something, and then you just go on to something.
Yeah, so one of the beautiful things about human beings, and the reason why we dominated as animals relative to any other animal, why didn't bird dominate, why didn't other primates dominate or whatever, is because of our ability to recognize patterns. Even we're so good at it, we can see patterns even where they don't exist. This was a perfect example, small example, but was another example where like I was like, what if we just say like you close the TV and just leave? Like will people just take it at face value? And you're like, no, but what's the meaning? Like, dude, he closed the TV, like the game's done, and he went off. And I actually love doing that. Like I love making games that really play with your curiosity. And it doesn't tell you. Like that's what I love to do. Because this reminds me so much of when I was a kid in my parents' home. And my mom loved the Victorian aesthetic, so I guess this is where all that comes from with Anne and whatever. And like my dad had like these 90s and like 80s, like Windows 98, let's say, or like even 80s equipment in like the library, which was really small back then. I remember when my parents used to go to work, and if I didn't have a school day, or if it was summer, I think when I was 11 or 12, like I would come up with these stories like as if the mirror was looking at me when I'm not looking, as if I was looking at myself or something. And that maybe the plants around me can actually talk to me. Or what if there are secrets in the living room, in this Victorian living room that my mom made, that you know that I could discover? And sometimes I do. Sometimes I find keys that I never know where they go through. So I think that's the inspiration behind. And I think if I really think about it, that's where it comes from.
So the next question is actually about the sequel to Old TV, Plasma TV. Well, just a quick side note about Plasma TV. It was a sequel to Old TV that was canceled for unknown reasons. Instead of surfing channels, you were pirating movies as an internet pirate. There is still an alpha available on GameJolt that I'll link in the description, and that's actually how I got the footage right now. If you guys want to check it out, as I said, I'll link it in the description. Anyways, back to the interview. What happened with it, and why did it get canceled? Because I've seen some videos on your channel saying like it's coming, and then I looked on GameJolt and it said it was canceled. So what happened with that?
So folks were calling me like the cancel god. Like I just keep canceling products one after the other. And to be honest, the only reason that was happening was purely because I wanted to get to door. Right? So I'm like, I can make games, but I want to make something that means to humanity, whatever. So it's like I would just like, I was like, all right, let's make some money, but then cancel, make some money, cancel, make some money, cancel. And guess what? We released Door. It released 22nd of June in Denmark. We are running out of funds. So, and we can't find any investors, and I don't want to get investors in a position where we're in lesser power and they're hiring. The worst time to get an investor is when you need an investor. The best time is when you don't need one, because that way you can you can get larger funds for giving out lesser shares. If you're coming in as desperate, they're going to demand more, assuming they're interested. They're going to demand more shares and for lesser funds, and you're going to shoot yourself in the foot that way. So I looked at Nav and I was like, dude, let's just make a game, just to fund ourselves. And I announced it before anything was made. So it was just game design, no actual coding was made, that screenshot you saw. And from the date that screenshot was posted, I believe it was 6th of July. But so ever since I posted the deadline up until now was the only official cycle of this game. So it's like, I think we're likely going to be in early access, but the game's going to look really polished already. Because it's using a bit of what makes Plasma look cool and a bit of what like the new effects and the new game ideas that we conceived. Yeah. So the reason why Plasma was canceled was, just because I needed to move on, etc. And I kept, and not just that, but Plasma wasn't fun. Like people like, oh, like it sucks that Plasma is happening. Guys, I played it. It's not fun. Like it's really not what you think it is. It's going to be another Only If. So So I've salvaged these parts and I've made. I think we can talk about it, to be honest, since it's releasing so soon.
You want to divert a little bit from OLDTV and talk about yourself, if you don't mind. So I was looking at your YouTube channel. There's a lot of cool stuff on there, like vlogs, other game projects, and I even saw the social media Door. I haven't seen any updates on Door, and I really like the concept. Is there any update on Door? And if you want to explain to the audience what Door is.
Sure. So the elevator pitch right now is that it's an auto meet app where you press one button to meet people within like 1 hour or in the same day. So let's say if it's jogging, cooking, partying, game cafe, barbecues, and in the future, like if we get enough revenue for us to like rent out like venues and sort of design like a board game place or like a gamer cafe or like I always wanted to make personally, like I really always wanted to make like the cinema of video games. And what I mean by that is that it's a single player game that you can only play by going to a venue. So what that means is really using VR to its limits. So like using the space around you to engineer the entire venue so that you can feel haptic feedback like everywhere. You can smell things, you can hear things, you can feel things. And like, as an example, just to give you what that's like, tell you what that's like let's say you're playing some game where it's like a first person forest open world kind of, let's say it has a great story or something. And let's say you level up your jump and you're like at like this forest, like imagine sort of Breath of the Wild, and then like you just want to just jump and then slowly glide. Like you can't physically do that, but with strings we can. So if you level up your jump, what we can end up doing is, if you're wearing the VR set, is when you do initialize a jump, we can suspend you in space, and it will feel like you're falling. And using wind as well, you can really create that sensation. It's fucking insane. So in my opinion, this is like the next, this is when VR would really take off. Like whatever we have right now with VR, it never attracted me. And I was one of the first backers for the Oculus Rift in 2013. I got the dev kit, I thought it was amazing. I had no idea what to do with it. Nothing revolutionary is what I'm saying. I thought, okay, maybe some cool things would be made.
I'm actually going to link the whole interview down below in the description. It'll link to my second channel, which is also a good time to tell you guys about my second channel. I made it a while back, but I had no real use for it. So I think I'll use it for like really long clips or behind the scenes and stuff. So I'll link the whole interview down there if you want to watch it. And I'll also link from River's channel. I'll link River's channel in the description below so you can check his channel out. And yeah. And I also wanted to thank River for coming out and doing this interview. He's a really chill guy, and if you want to check out his stuff on his channel, I'll link it in the description. And that's about it. You guys should really check this game out. I really love it. It's honestly one of my favorite games of all time. Not just because it's free. But it's also very fun and challenging, and it's really addicting. Also, it's free. If I had to rate it, honestly, I'd give it a 10 out of 10. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Also, this game is 4 years old. And, actually, I forgot to mention this to River when we were doing the interview. The day we did that interview, 3 days ago, today's July 17th, July the 14th, when we did that interview, was actually the anniversary of OLDTV releasing on Steam. So it's now 4 years old. And it aged beautifully. Such a great game. Totally check it out. And yeah. And actually, a lot of you might be asking why I made this video. And it's really pretty simple.
Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and try again.
You have reached a wrong number.
How's it going, everyone? Salty Cool Kid here. Thank you so much for watching. This is a pretty big video to make about a little indie game I found and loved. I hope that I was able to show you this game in its entirety and to have shown a fun, free-to-play game. As always, thanks for the dope comments. Leave a like, share, notifications. Turn them on right now. Right now. Follow me on my socials, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Join the Discord. Follow me on Odyssey. And yeah. Thank you all so much. And what is happening on July 23rd?
Yeah, man, hey, hello from Jamaica, hey, listen, man, subscribe to Salty Cool Kid 101, the best channel on YouTube. Yeah, man, Baba Boy, and follow him on Twitch at Salty Cool Kid 101. Hey, bye now, me brothers. Yeah, man.